Hi there, welcome back to the podcast and thank you for listening. I'm enjoying the outside weather, the sun and the air. So I know the shadow is kicking in of the trees and of the bushes in this hour because it's Eastern Standard Time, so it's 4:29 in the Eastern Coast where I'm located. And so I noticed that the shadow is taking over and the sun is dimming down more and more. So, I'm just trying to bask in the sun. But I know I encourage you guys to read 2 Kings chapter 20 verses 1 through 22 about King Hezekiah, how the Lord, blessed him and added 15 more, years to his lifespan because he acknowledged that he reminded God that, how faithful he has been and obedient he has been to the Lord. And God favored him and heard his cry and heard his prayer. And, sent the prophet Isaiah to inform him that the Lord heard his prayer and his cry. That, that he's going to add 15 more years into King Hezekiah's life. But I'm here to talk about the blessing, like when God blesses you, about when it's, to be silent. Because this is where the season I mentioned before, this is the season for me where I have to be silent. And as I was reading, and I remember my pastor reading it as well, and he said something that was divine. He said that, when God blesses your enemies, you don't tell even your enemies, you don't tell people. And you just keep it to yourself. There's time when God is gonna do a move and it's not meant for you to share with others. And I'm guilty of that, to be honest. And this is why I'm asking God in this season to give me discernment, to be as wise as a snake and as gentle as a dove, and to be quiet in this season. But I want to read 2 Kings chapter 20 verses 12 through just 12 through just 12 to 19, because yes, it's still about King Hezekiah, but the thing he did was that he showed the enemy, the Babylonian, his treasures. And this is after God blessed him with the 15 more years. Then let me go ahead and read it now. Okay, and again, this is 2 Kings chapter 20, verses 14 to 19. It said, then came I, and I'm reading from the King James Version. I'm sorry, I did mention that. I am reading from the King James Version. It says, then came Isaiah the prophet unto King Hezekiah, and said unto him, what said these men, and from whence came they unto thee? And Hezekiah said, they are come from a far country, even from Babylon. And he said, what have I seen in thine house? And Hezekiah answered, all the things that are in my house have they seen. There is nothing among my treasure that I have not shewed them. And Isaiah said unto Hezekiah, hear the word of the Lord. Behold, the days come that all that is in thine house, and that which thy fathers have laid up and stored unto this day, shall be carried into Babylon. Nothing shall be left, saith the Lord. And of thy sons that shall issue from thee, which thou shalt beget, shall they take away, and they shall be Enoch in the palace of the king of Babylon. Then said Hezekiah unto Isaiah, good is the word of the Lord, which thou hast spoken. And he said, it is not good if peace and truth be in my days. So this is the ending portion reading of the word, and it is blessed. Glory be to God. So I want to share this. The thing that, God favored Hezekiah 15 more years. The mistake that Hezekiah made was, allowed the Babylonians, foreigners to come in his palace and view all his treasuries. And Isaiah prophesied that, they're going to take everything from him, that was stored by his fathers, by all his fathers, before him, like the treasures, and they're going to take his sons away, and they're going to become Enoch, which the prophecy came to pass. Remember, the whole country of Israel, they became captive. They became captive of the Babylonians, and that way you have the story of Daniel, where Daniel was one of the, Enoch. Well, he was a prophet of God, so then they were overseen by Nebuchadnezzar. The story. Well, you guys have to read the book of Daniel to get the whole story of that. But to stay on the topic, really, when things are going to happen, and I'm learning this and I'm observing, and God is showing me things about my enemy. For me, personally, it could be my enemy. For me, it's always going to be someone close to me or someone near me. Like, I can't share nothing. Even my sister, who we have the same mother, same father, said the same thing. And she's not a believer yet, but she said she doesn't share everything with. I could see that she don't share everything with others, especially with me. But she said not everything is meant to share with others, because people kill people for things, especially for life insurance. Because something came up where I told her I divulged the information to my son's father. And let me tell you, the information I didn't divulge, it came up in a conversation where it did bother me, because I don't know how that conversation came to be. But I know I serve a great God. But God is revealing to me in this season more than ever, I have to do my move in silence. So, and it was prophesied to me, and I received instruction yesterday from my spiritual sister, when she told me that I need to do things in silence, and moving forward, like the individual, my son father doesn't have to know anything I do, because we're not together, and he has no business knowing what I do. And this could go for any of you too, like any family member, any loved ones, it could be anyone, like even friends, neighbors, people you think are close to you. You do things in silence, and if you choose to tell a person, pray about it and ask God. And you have to trust. You have to, tell a person that you truly trust, that in your heart, from your being, that will not go and tell another individual, if you trust that one person. But even telling one person is risky. It's best to keep your mouth quiet, and that and to move in silence in this season while God is doing what He's doing in the midst. Because we don't see it in the physical, but it's being done in the natural, where He's fighting our battle for us. He's fighting the enemy in order for us to get our blessing, in order for us to get favor, in order for us, to glorify Him. It's really for Him to get all the glory. So I'm learning in this season that quietness and working in silence is important. And let me tell you, when you are silent, things start to be revealed to you. And this is one of the things that was revealed to me about the individual, about my son father. Yes, my son father, and other individual as well. Even when you're in a job, you notice that when you're quiet, you see the enemy at work, and then the spirit that's manifesting in them, that's using them. Because I know for a fact that the spirit I'm dealing with right now, and I've listened to this on someone YouTube, her name Latoya Oki. I do listen to her as much as I can, because I believe she is hearing from God too. She said that there's 3 spirits that you're gonna have to be aware of in this season, while God is delivering the blessing. And these blessings that He's going to put face to face with you is going to also be a test. Like, He's going to release some things out to every individual. But, you have to be aware of these 3 spirits: the spirit of jealousy, greed, and manipulation. And I'm dealing with the spirit of greed and jealousy. And they all work together. And, and then the spirit of manipulation is the spirit of Jezebel. And you know the story about Jezebel and Ahaz. So right now, I'm being silent, and God is working on me, because silence is the best move now for me. And I'm saying this is for me, and who is ever listening. I don't know what season you're in, but if God is telling you to stay silent in this season, move in silence, because our mouth is our biggest downset. Like the words say, with the same lip that we give God praise, and on the same lips we curse. And it shouldn't be like that. Because can bitter water and sweet water be be in the same, can run from the same fountain? No. Can run from the same stream? No. So we have to watch our tongues. We have to be alert. We have to be vigilant and sober in this season. But more importantly, whatever you're doing, even whatever your plan is with your business, with your life itself, if you're planning to move, if you're planning, whatever you're planning, even if you're planning to move to an apartment, trying to get a house, doing or making an arrangement, whatever arrangement you're doing, keep it to yourself. You don't keep it to yourself. And if you feel like you have to tell somebody, just tell a trustworthy person that you know for a fact that they could hold your secret. But I would say this: if you don't have that much people you could confide in, just confide in the Lord and just move in silence in this season. Cause I'm getting it back to back, to move in silence, to be silent. So as I'm sharing my season with you, and I'm hoping that we both are in the same season, I'm praying that you prosper, and that you overcome in your season. And I want to say God bless you, and I love you, and thank you for listening.